Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
What? Bill, something was backwards the way you did your dynamics on that. That was like a crescendo.
I'm doing it like most of our podcast sellers do it.
Yeah?
Our podcast listeners do it. I start off a little slow and a little conservative, and then as I get a little bit more and further into it, I get all excited.
Oh, that's what's happening. Well, it's good to know that that's going on
So
today.
Before we start, I have, you know how the news does. I have a news alert. You know, they put the big thing up there. And I have an alarming alert. I have an alarming message for all of my podcast listeners. Before I even tell you what episode it is.
What?
I need your help. Please go give me reviews. We're trying to get a 5.0 review rating, and we're freaking close because some time ago, I don't know, a year ago, somebody put in there that you and I chit-chatted too much and didn't give enough information, and it's given me a damn bad review. And the only way for me to overcome it is to get more good reviews.
Yeah, one bad one, it just tanks the
crazy.
percentages. Yeah,
and the stupid thing is whoever the person was that did it, about a month later, listened to the podcast again and gave us a 5-star review. It was like,
wait a minute,
because we listened and changed it, because that's what we do, right? And they changed it and didn't take the old one down.
Oh man!
So calling all podcast listeners, please go give us a review. Even if you don't like us, we'll deal with it. But please go give us a review on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever platform you're listening to. That's my request.
Bill, can they also tell us what they want to hear more about?
Yes. So that is a good point, Peter. If you go to Flipping Houses for Rookies, on the top right-hand side, it says Contact Us. It brings you to a support ticket. I would love to have topics to talk about. Actually, the last 2 or 3 podcasts we've done, I've taken from support tickets because I've had a couple people ask them. And I've actually had those people email me, in the support ticket and say, thanks for covering that. Like last week was how to find miscellaneous funds. The email I got from the dude, he had emailed me and somebody else, but one of the guys, it was a raving email, like how much he appreciated that we covered it for an hour because he was really stuck with that. So if you have something that you want to talk about, or you hear something on another podcast, you don't understand it, or you don't, whatever, blah, 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 send us a support ticket because we're always looking for ideas.
Yeah, because we don't care what we talk about.
Yep. I'll go even one better.
What?
I wouldn't mind having some guest speakers on the show.
Oh.
If you listen to the podcast and you would like to come on the show, there you go.
Well, what would you have to do to qualify to be a guest speaker?
Send me a pitch on the support ticket of why you should be on the call.
Do they have to be knowledgeable or just full of questions? Does it matter to you?
Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We have software that we use that can easily do it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Peter.
What, Bill?
Matter of fact,
what, Bill?
Bill's most favorite. We're on episode number 142, and we're completely diverted right now. But Bill's most favorite podcast is about to happen on May 2nd. May 2nd.
Because you're going to be.
I've absolutely communicated with Ben Seidel, who is one of my copyright mentors. And we talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
And he's agreed to be on our podcast.
You contacted him.
Yeah, I contacted him.
And he's going to be on the podcast?
And he's going to be on the podcast with us.
Oh, what an honor.
And we're going to talk about his book, his new book.
What an honor.
Which I've read about 5 times. I just finished reading it again. And I need to order you a copy. You need to read it.
All right. Did you finally get it straight the 5th time?
No, I'm going to read it again. It's not a matter of getting it straight. It's just keeping myself reminded.
Sure.
All right. Enough gibberish. Episode number 142. Get instant real estate leads. The shortcut. After coaching hundreds of folks wanting to turn houses into income, I found the number one thing that kills the investor his dreams and gets him into debt and trouble is not having enough leads to sustain the investor's intentions. Most can't and shouldn't quit their current income source until they replace it with another that is reliable and dependable. So you need to approach the real estate investing intelligently with a real good plan. And if you do what we're going to teach you in this podcast, you will be rewarded like no other business could reward you. Honestly, this business is huge on rewards. Right? You agree?
Oh, absolutely. I'm getting excited this year because we've been talking about some plans that we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to actually replacing half my income this year between my wife and myself, and the other half next year.
Good. But you have to know the success or the failure of buying and selling houses is finding and having a steady flow of leads. It's vital, Peter. It's vital, vital, vital. Doing what we're going to talk about or what we're going to cover in this episode is the first and foremost on the list of success that you should follow. So let's just jump right into it, okay?
Sure.
Are you ready?
On your mark.
On your marks. So, to replace any kind of livable income, you need to find at least 20 to 50 potential sellers and probably 20 to 60 potential buyers. Now, if you could do that in a week, or if you do that in a month, you do that in a quarter, you do that in a year, which is what I have found when I start coaching somebody, like how many potential sellers have you had? Either recently or in a lifetime. Because one thing that I found out is that somebody's like spending all this time, they're setting up LLCs, they're doing this, they're doing their studying, they're watching. How many potential sellers do you have or have you spoken to? Or have you done something with?
Yeah.
At least had call you, even if you ignored them.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on it.
Right.
I'm doing research. This week was a little busy.
Yeah, exactly.
I know all the excuses.
Now, here's the point that I want to make. This is very, very important. So if you're listening to this podcast, make sure that you get this salient point right now, because I don't want any complaints after we get done.
And salient means jumping out. It's really big. It's right there in front of you.
It's the highlight.
Yes.
Okay? You're not going to start this way. You're not going to start with 20 to 50 seller leads and 20 to 60 buyer leads. It's not how it works. And this episode is not meant to do that. It's not meant to do that. This episode is not meant to do that. If you want to do that, then go to episode number 134 and get the full story on the marketing, the 14 different ways that we do marketing. And when you get up to that point, you can go listen to episode number 134, and it will help you. Today, I just want to take the green guys, the guys that are just getting started, the newbies, and get them so that they can just get one deal. Right? So they can start on the right gradient.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm talking to the guys now. If you're one of those guys that are like me and you're doing a bunch of deals and blah, 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 then this podcast may be boring to you. I don't think so, but it may be boring. I'm okay with you scooting away. Go do whatever you're doing in your life, and to hell with you. But the guy that hasn't done a deal and the guy that really wants to do his first deal, this podcast he's going to get glued to. And you should listen to it a few times, and you should take notes. Because what I'm going to cover today, we've never done before. Not on a podcast.
Well, now you got me listening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay? So what the purpose of today's podcast, okay? The goal, today's goal. We have a goal today, Peter. We have a target to hit. You and I have a target to hit. We're getting right down into the meat and potatoes, man. The target we hit today is we want to get as many listeners as possible to get the shut up check. What's the shut up check, Peter?
Shut up check. Hey guys, come on over for dinner. Like, yeah. Hey, let's go to the restaurant. Yeah. What's up, Dad? Take a look at that. Wow. What's that? Shut up.
So all your naysayers and all the people that are not even like working against you, but just are on the sidelines watching your performance to see if this really works.
And especially the ones that don't even care.
Right.
They pay you no attention. They give no heed or credibility to what you're doing. They just have you not even written off.
So let's
written off.
Let's talk about that for 2 seconds. How do you find one of these sideliners?
The person?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you some indicators of where they're at, okay?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, how's the real estate going? Another one is, so, have you bought a house?
Mm-hmm.
Or, what are you doing this weekend? Working on real estate? Or, have you paid any money back on those courses you bought?
Yeah.
Or from a spouse?
That's a wife question.
Yeah, from a spouse, it'd be something like, I don't think you should do any more real estate until you've paid off some of the credit card debt. That's a little bit more higher gradient. Okay.
Well, wait a minute, honey. How am I going to pay off the credit card debt if I don't do real estate?
These are your fans in the bleachers that are watching you. Okay. So my intention today is to get you a deal and show them that check for $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 and shut them up. All you're going to do is show it to them. And now they can't say anything because now you got money.
Mm-hmm.
And we could do this within 30 days. If you follow this podcast today, you could do this within 30 days. And you know, because we've done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill, I think I'm going to get my checks. The last couple of years, I got a few checks, right?
Yeah.
And make color copies and put them on my bulletin board.
Yeah.
Just sitting
I
there.
think
on my
what you
office
should
room.
do is you should actually go onto one of those online websites that makes greeting cards. And you should make them on a greeting card and just say, just thinking of you. And mail them. All right. Good. So to get a shut-up check, what we're going to teach you today doesn't need any money. It doesn't need a Yale education where you got to go study a bunch of shit. You don't have to go buy courses. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to give you everything today, right? Which you can do for a little while. But if you're going to ramp it up, then you're going to need some training. So I want you to know that I'm actually playing a trick on you right now because I'm going to wet your beak with getting a deal, and then you'll need help, and hopefully you'll come to me. So that's my motive.
Bill, that's perfectly valid because when I went to kindergarten, I learned about the colors and numbers and adding a little bit.
Right.
I was really interested in getting to first grade to figure out more about geography and the cute little redhead sitting next to me. So it was
the redhead.
Well, she was blonde.
She was blonde.
Linda Lou Nicholson. Well, who can forget?
Go Facebook her now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to talk about today. Let me see here. I have some notes. All right. So before we get started, you need to realize one important thing, that it's a total numbers game. Okay. That most leads want all cash within the next 30 days. Okay. So when I say most, I mean 95, 97% of the people want their cash within the next 30 days, which we can do. Especially in some of my training, I show you how to do that. Not only can we give their cash, but we can overpay them on certain situations. And I teach that to you in the training. And if you want to find out a glimpse of that, just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. That page is amazing. I've had amazing things happen. We've got some really cool stuff there. You should go there. flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. But sometimes, if it's not the right situation and they aren't in the right situation, we need to get a deep discount. Okay, I'm not talking about those houses. Okay, I'm talking about buying pretty houses. All right, and you need to realize that some suspects, actually all suspects, okay, it is nothing more, nothing less than the seller is so wrapped up in his own head thinking about his profits or the advantages that he's going to get that he forgets about you. Right? He doesn't think about how you're going to get the money. He doesn't think about how you're going to qualify for the money. He doesn't think about anything that has to do with you. He's just thinking about himself.
That's pretty selfish, Bill.
Yeah.
That's pretty one-sided. Right. That's pretty inflexible.
Right.
That's pretty unrealistic.
That's what we call a suspect. That's why we call him a suspect.
And
what do we do with suspects?
Whack them. Whack them.
Ron LeGrand term, right?
They're suspicious.
Yeah. If he doesn't turn around to your way of thinking fairly quickly, you whack him. Mm-hmm. And by whack him, I truly mean put him in your follow-up file because time changes everything. Mm-hmm. Right? So, second thing you need to know before we get started is the difference between someone like you, meaning the listener, and someone like me that's made thousands of offers and hundreds of deals is how many people you talk to. Right? See, if you're untrained, right, and you're not me or someone like me, you just have to talk to more people to find that low-hanging fruit. That's all it is.
Yeah, to get somebody to say yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So just know that. You don't need to be me. Mm-hmm. Okay? So the difference between me and you is I could take a deliberator, somebody that's on the fence or somebody that has considerations or concerns, and I can turn them around because I've got a lot of practice. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not bragging about that. It's just true. I mean, I've made thousands of offers and hundreds of deals. Right?
You've done it a lot.
So I've kind of heard everything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes I get new shit, but I look forward to that because I like the new stuff because it gives me a challenge. Otherwise, to me, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to get the listeners on the podcast right now through a trial and error period, right? And as fast as possible so that they can replace their inconvenienced income they have now.
Inconvenienced income.
Yeah, well, it is, right?
If
you're going to work,
that's your fancy word for your job.
Yeah, an inconvenienced income. If you're going to work every day, it's inconveniencing you from doing what you want to do, right?
Yeah, got to get up when they say.
You got to do what the boss says.
You can't even eat when you want.
Yeah. So I mean, I could tell you right now that there's mornings where I wake up and I'm like, doing shit today. Mm-hmm. And I don't. Sometimes I just lay in bed. Not often. I'm not that kind of a guy. But there's one thing you got to know about Bill Hawthorne. I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Oh, boy. If we don't know that by now.
And I could be pretty thick. I could be pretty stubborn. Thick-headed, right? So.
No comment.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to find a polite way, a good way to say that.
Just agree with me. I'm okay with it.
I was like, there's an encouraging way. Your son is stubborn. He really knows what he wants.
Yeah. So really the difference between all my sentences and all the things that I say and what I've learned and what somebody this could be their first podcast, the only difference is how many phone calls you're going to have to make. I might have to make 5 or 10. You might have to make 20 or 30. But if you make enough phone calls and you use the script that we're talking about, because what we're going to talk about is calling for sale by owners. Mm-hmm. That is the fastest, easiest, most productive way to get in a house and make an offer. There are other ways, and calling FSBOs is not the only thing you should do, but it's definitely the first thing you should do because it doesn't cost anything.
Well, why go looking for sellers when they're already advertising, I'm a seller?
Right.
At least to start out. If you run out of names, then go fishing. You can go to the store. There's a fish tank.
Right.
A lobster tank.
Exactly.
You just go there and say, give me that one.
Right. Exactly.
And when it runs out, then worry about it.
Right. Totally. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go through the FSBO script. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the FSBO script you can find at flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. You go there and get one for free. So you should pause this podcast before we start talking about it. If you're listening to it after the live recording, you're not on Facebook right now listening, you should pause and you should go get the FSBO script. Could you put in the Facebook Live the link to do that, please? So if somebody's on Facebook right now listening to us, they can go click on that link and get the FSBO script, please. So go grab the FSBO script. Here's the thing. If you've already downloaded the FSBO script in the past, you need to go do it again.
Why is that, Bill?
Because we changed it. And what I'm going to read to you today is the most current version. So if you haven't downloaded it in the last, it doesn't matter. Just go download it. Even if you have a copy of one already, go download it because I keep updating it. So, so if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't downloaded it in the last week or two, then just go download the new one. Because even after this podcast, I'm liable to change it because we keep making phone calls and we keep finding things out that work and I keep adding it and keep changing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's always the current version. I think we're on version 5 or 7 or something like that. I'm not
Something
sure.
like that. Yeah, there's been some great tweaks to it.
Yeah. Okay, last thing I want to cover before we get into the script is what is a script? What is a script? First of all, every heavy earner, I'm talking about multi-million-dollar people. Well, I was just at the smoke shop, and I smoke cigars a lot with Tabaki Jones, who's a NFL football player. NFL, he won a Super Bowls. He played for the Patriots. He was in the NFL for 10 years, right? And he's a nut. He's a regular good guy.
He liked me, though, Bill.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I didn't say anything. That's probably why.
It's probably why. He's a pretty private guy.
He's a very nice guy.
Yeah. They were talking about this latest baseball thing going on because a couple new players, I don't know their names, but a couple new players just signed on for $330 million contracts, right? And $400 million contracts. They're 10, 12-year contracts. There's two things that stuck out of my mind when I heard it. And I'm not a sports guy, although I hang around with a bunch of sports guys. I just choose not to remember it all because I'm just too busy thinking about real estate. Two things stuck out of my head. Number one, the one guy that got $330 million was 29 years old. Number two, the statistic was when he goes to bat, he gets paid $55,000 each time he goes to bat.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
Do you know why he gets paid that money?
Well, generally I hope I do, but specifically no.
He's practiced.
Oh, okay.
He's practiced.
Yeah.
And he's practiced. No different than a script. How about a movie star? Pick any movie star. Give me a name.
Richard Gere.
Richard Gere. How did Richard Gere become Richard Gere?
I hope he practiced.
He had a script and he practiced. Okay, so what's a script? So what does a script mean? A script means that you actually all a script is organizing your words before you say them. Okay? And so you get that.
Yeah, you have some set words that you're ready to say
before it's time.
Before somebody says whatever, then you know the right thing to say back.
So you're not shooting from the lip. You're not making it up.
Yep.
Which is number one thing that happens when people get on the phone or they talk to a seller or they're in a house is they think that they can just wing it and buy a house. They don't have a strategy. They don't have any kind of outline of what they're going to do while they're there, and they don't have a script. So a script isn't something like verbatim, although in the movies, I mean, if Richard Gere didn't say his lines right, what would happen to the movie?
Cut.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah. Right. So you need to know that. So here's the point that I would like to emphasize at this moment, and then we'll get right into the script. So if somebody like me has spoken to thousands of sellers and bought hundreds of houses, would you want me in your house making your deals? If that was possible.
Absolutely.
That's what the script is. The script I'm giving you is me doing your deals for you in your voice. You just say what I say, and you'll do those deals. You don't have to go figure it out. You don't have to do the 15 years worth of testing that we've done. You don't have to talk to thousands and thousands of people and get hundreds of deals that way. Just read the script. I'll tell you what I do with my coaching clients, which they pay a lot of money for.
What do you do?
They get the script. I make them write it 10 times till it's their own. Just get the script, go download it, and handwrite it 10 times or more.
Yeah.
And then actually mock role play it with someone. Just drill it till you know it. And I'm not even telling you have to like memorize it. I'm just telling you that when you look, when you glance, because you're on the phone.
Oh, you don't have it memorized. You use your scripts.
Yeah. And just glance down at it and just know what you're going to do next.
Oh.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. How much time do we have? Oh, man, we killed 24 minutes. Okay. Here we go.
It was a good setup, though.
Was it?
It was a good setup.
Good. Well, it's important because people need to understand the significance of this, because I don't think that we have enough people that get how powerful what we're teaching them right now is. I mean, I spoke to somebody yesterday, and I'll keep the names anonymous, but they yet again, Peter, and you can testify, and nobody listening to us has to believe us. Come to one of our meetups, watch one of our meetups, and you'll know. Okay, just go to meetup.com, Flipping Houses for Rookies, and we're there. Right? How many people have told me, and this person told me this just yesterday, that he spent $30,000 and he's coming to me to figure out how to do it. And
he spent 30 on the other guys.
Yep. And I don't charge anywhere near 30,000. I mean, my shit is stupid cheap. And I should change it, but I don't, because I'm on the Henry Ford model. I believe everybody should drive an affordable car. I believe everybody should have an affordable system to buy and sell real estate. And I've done that. We've done that. You and I have done that. Mm-hmm. Right? So, how many times I get those people that have spent $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, gone to the seminars.
From day one,
Yep.
They walk in the door, like, and they tell us, and they don't have a house,
Yep.
and they don't have anybody helping them anymore.
Yep.
It's gone.
It's between 30 and 40% of my coaching clients started that way. And verbatim, exactly the same way say to me, I wish I found you before them. I would have saved a lot of money.
But we just have a different philosophy.
Yep.
And it's simply that, why would you pay for grad school when you're in kindergarten?
Right.
So pay for kindergarten.
Right.
Get going. See that something can work, that you're getting leads, you're talking to people, you see somebody else doing it, you know you're getting close.
Right.
Then get into first grade, pay for that a little bit, and keep going, and then get a house, make some money, then pay for second grade with the money you made. And third, just keep going that way until you know enough that you can do it without worrying about it at that point. But why would you pay for grad school when you're in kindergarten?
Exactly.
We charge kindergarten for kindergarten prices.
Yep. And what we're doing today is definitely kindergarten, because we're going to show you how to get a lead. But then what do you do with them once you get them? My course, my most expensive course, is How to Buy Real Estate Without a Loan, is $500. And I have payment programs on there. You can pay for it over months. So it doesn't cost you that much to get started. So you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/courses.
But then what do you have to buy after that,
Nothing.
Bill?
Nothing.
And that's the point.
This script and how to do this script, I'm actually taking it out of the course right now. What we're going to talk about today is from the course. It's in the course.
Yeah.
It's got all the paperwork that you need. It's got all the documents you need. It shows you how to fill them out step by step. I have people that have taken that course and have made hundreds of thousands of dollars within a 12-month period.
Yeah. I know,
and I can
know
name
the
them.
names. Yeah.
I can name them. Okay.
But don't forget, you also have how to sell the house, too. This isn't like, here's how to buy it, ha.
Right.
You don't have to sell it. It's in there, too.
Right.
So, just in
So
case
what
you
we're going to
wondered.
do is we're going to go to Google, and we're going to type in your city, your state, your city, your county, or your state, depending on how many leads you want.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be for sale by owner, Wallingford, which is the city, or it's going to be for sale by owner, New Haven, which is the county, or it's going to be for sale by owner, Connecticut. That would be an example for me.
Yeah, our state is small enough we can actually make it, except for the extreme corners we might not want to drive to, but we can make most of the state if we had to.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
If you live in Texas, don't put Texas.
Yeah, 45 minutes we can get to almost anywhere, or an hour we can get to anywhere. Yeah. Okay. What will happen is the biggest monster in the search results page is going to be Zillow. So you go on to Zillow and you pick. Don't spend a bunch of time doing this. Just pick 10 houses. Write down the phone numbers. I've had a lot of support tickets and a lot of questions about this, though, Peter. When you check the for sale by owners on Zillow, what happens is they are very sly and very clever, because what they do is they make their money presenting that offer to you by putting realtors as the contact information high on the page.
Usually on the right side somewhere. There's the realtors.
Those realtors are paying to be there.
Yeah.
So that's how Zillow's making their money, is they're charging the realtors to be there so you don't find the for sale by owner's contact information.
Right.
They present that to you before they present the owner's number. So what you need to do is you need to scroll down to the bottom of the page, bottom left-hand side of the page, the very, very bottom, and it says owner's phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get it.
Now, here, this might be a stupid question, and I don't mean to throw the show off the rails, but this is my question, because I don't understand how the dots connect. The for sale by owner is trying to sell it by himself. He doesn't want to go through a realtor. He's hoping somebody shows up and buys the house. So if you call the realtor calls the for sale by owner and says, hey, what happens?
No, what happens is the realtor's looking for a buyer. Because if you're going to call the for sale by owner, you're a buyer, right?
Yeah.
So the realtor's looking for buyers.
Okay.
Qualified buyers that are out looking for a house.
So
to buy.
Can he sell that house that you're looking at for sale by owner?
Yeah, but he won't. He'll use one of his own listings.
Yeah, because the for sale by owner himself doesn't want that realtor to sell his house.
Right.
But if you insisted, I want to see that house, could he get in?
Yes. He could call the for sale by owner and try to get a listing with him.
Yeah, but he has to get a
or
listing
make a
with the
deal.
guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to clear that up.
Before the realtor does that, they're going to get you under contract that you're the exclusive realtor that you're going to buy a house from.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, we're not going there.
That's it. I had to like, well, how's that work? Okay, I get it.
So get 10 phone numbers.
Yep.
10 phone numbers. Don't be picky. Just get 10 phone numbers. Don't spend. If this takes you more than 30 minutes, you're in analysis of paralysis. You're in paralysis of analysis, I mean.
Can I give a suggestion from the first day I tried that?
Yeah.
Don't try to get good ones.
Yeah.
Try to get anything and get bad ones just to practice.
Yes.
Because if you go in this thinking, I got to get a deal, you're going to break your heart that first hour.
Yep.
Go in there thinking, I'm going to practice on some jerks and just see how it goes. Just see how I talk to people and say no to a few people yourself if you have. No, I'm not interested in that kind of house. Thank you. Goodbye. And just practice getting rid of some, throwing them away that you don't need them.
Right.
You don't have to have them. You're looking for the right one. You don't give a damn.
Right.
And let go of them. And don't be greedy. Don't be hopeful. Don't be worrying about it. Just let her go. And the right guy will come along.
The intention
Relax.
of the call is to get you good. Get your script down pat.
Right. And let a couple just let them go.
Yep.
Let them fly. You know, when I did that, the second one said, you want to see my house.
Yep.
Relax.
Yep. Exactly. All right. So the first thing you need to realize when you're calling these people is that realtors call these people all the time and they're asking for a listing. So you need to get through that. So the sentence that we used to use this, and this is on the old script. Hi, my name is Bill. I'm calling to see if you're open to a terms purchase for your house, the house you have for sale. We don't do that anymore.
Yep.
Here's what we do now. Hi, my name is Bill. Obviously, use your own name, unless you're giving them my phone number and I could buy the deal.
Yes. Or Pete, 860-4.
Hi, my name is Bill. I saw your ad about the house for sale. My partner and I would like to buy your house at 123 Main Street. Would you be interested in chatting about it for a few minutes? And they'll be yes, because what does a for sale by owner want?
Well, they want to talk to somebody about seeing what offer they might give. Right. See what the deal could be.
So don't realize this. They don't want to sell you the house. They don't want to sell you the house. They want an offer first. They want to find out that you're not going to try to offer them $100,000 on their $200,000 house. What they want to do is they want to test your ability to pay their number. Because remember what I said to you before. The seller's wrapped up in his own head on his own profits and his own advantages before anything.
Especially, I'm going to sell it myself and make all the money.
Right.
Avoid all this, avoid that.
Okay. So once you say, so would you be interested in chatting for a few minutes? Of course, they're going to say what?
Sure. Wait, it's actually like this. Honey, you got someone on the phone. They want to buy the house.
Yeah.
Pick up the other line.
Yeah.
Be like that.
Yeah. Okay, so once they say that, this is the next sentence. Good. If we look at your house and like it, are you willing? I'll give that to you again. Good. If we look at the house and like it and are willing to pay top dollar, would you be interested in a terms purchase? Now, what was happening before is when we were doing the script and we would call them up and say, hi, my name is Bill. I'm calling to see if you are open to a terms purchase for the house you have for sale. Problem is that right away they ask, what is a terms purchase? They're going to do it here too. But what I realized is that there was not an advantage of why they would do a terms purchase.
Right.
The number one advantage that we give them for doing a terms purchase is what?
More money.
So if I were to sell you my computer today for $1,000, my lame example, if I were to sell you my computer today for $1,000 and you gave me $1,000 in cash, how much did you pay for the computer?
1,000.
Okay. If you were to buy my computer today for $1,000 and put it in a credit card and proceed to pay with it over the next 6 months, did you pay more than $1,000?
Sure.
Okay. That's the same thing with the house.
Yeah, money costs money.
Yep. If we're going to ask for time to pay for it, we need to pay more. So we're going to tell them right up front, if we look at the house, because otherwise what's going to happen, if you don't tell them, if we look at the house and we like it, if you don't say that, they're going to be like, well, how much are you offering me for the house? And I'll be like, I haven't looked at it yet. How can I make you an offer?
So
did you buy the house that way? What do you think? This is Amazon? We're going on there and buying a cord for the podcast? You know what I mean?
And you're kind of into, not an argument, but like, you're going back and forth. So you just circumvent that whole thing. You just avoid that by putting these lines in first. What I noticed you did with this is you put like the logical sequence of conversation, activity, and how things actually go.
Right, because I'm on the calls and I do the calls myself. That's why.
It doesn't start with, hey, you want to take your payments over time. How do you start a conversation like that? Right. It's unrealistic. Unless the guy already figured that out. Now, how many people already have that figured out? You're gonna have to talk to a lot of people before that.
Not to be gross or anything like that, but I am a guy, so just realize that. It's kind of like saying, do you want to go to the prom? Right. That should be what you ask. No, instead you're asking, do you want to have sex after the prom? It's like the same thing. You know what I mean? Instead of like, maybe she'll say yes. Maybe she's that kind of a girl.
Yeah, you don't want that kind
of girl. But the likelihood of that is a lot less than, I'm thinking about asking you to the prom. Would you like to go?
Yeah, a little courting, please.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to court your buyer, your seller.
Right. So the sentence is, good. If we look at the house and we like it and you're willing to pay, and we're willing to pay top dollar, would you be interested in a terms purchase? Okay. They're always, every single time going to say,
well, what's a terms purchase?
Right. So then what you say is basically what happens is if you sell your house, basically, and I have to tell you that I have to apologize for stumbling like this, because when I'm on the phone, I'm kind of in my groove and I'm not paying attention. So I'm apologizing. Okay.
No, but Bill, honestly, if you get on the phone and you run these lines like a Hollywood actor, they're going to think you're a Hollywood actor.
That's right.
If you stop, I can't forget the story. You saw somebody do this live once, and the guy was not that good at it. He was bumbling and stumbling, blah, blah, but it sounded so like real and genuine. Like a person's thinking like, well, this guy's not so sharp. I guess I can handle him.
Even if you just read this robotically, it will work.
Yeah, the person doesn't want to feel overwhelmed like the guy on the other end is some slick dude.
Right.
They want to sound like a human, maybe not as smart as they are. So it's okay to be like, just a minute. It's okay.
All right, so what do you do if they ask if it's a term purchase? So here's what you say. Basically what happens is you sell your house now without fees, as is, for a higher price and on the date of your choice. Plus, we actually make payments so you can cover your expenses until we get you paid in full, allowing you to move on with your life. How does that sound? Okay, I'll give it to you one more time. Basically, what happens is you sell your house now without fees, as is, for a higher price and on the date of your choice. Plus, we actually make payments so you can cover your expenses until we get you paid in full, allowing you to move on with your life. How does that sound? If they say no, you say, okay, sometimes people need all their cash right away.
That's brilliant, because that's not arguing with them. Say, okay, well, you might need the money right away. That's fine. I hear you. I'm not ignoring that. Right. But then you say,
we usually buy from people who want to make more money from the sale and can wait a little time to get paid in full. Is that possible? Could you wait a little time for the money?
See, you're trying again.
Right.
But very politely. Like, we understand some people need all their cash right away.
Right. So at this particular point, if they say yes, then we go to the next box. If they say no,
They
then
say what? Wait, they need the cash.
yeah,
Yes, they need the cash. Okay.
right. And the interesting thing is no matter what happens, whether they say yes from the first question or they say yes from the second question, it goes back to the same box. And that box is, okay, what's your name? Right? So what's your asking price? How many bedrooms and bathrooms does it have? How much square foot does it have? What kind of shape is the property in? Right? And then you would circle one. This is a no for you, whether you think it's a pretty house or an ugly house, because that'll make a difference on how you proceed. Right? And then you say, that's good. Ready? This is like,
Should charge for this one.
yeah. I shouldn't be doing this on a podcast. Okay? Here we go. That's good. We buy houses in any condition. Can I ask you what changed in life that caused you to want to sell now? That's your question. And they tell you. So what changed in life to want you to sell now? And then now here's the thing. If you get that answer, you're in the conversation they're already having in their head. And then you say to them, after you acknowledge them, make sure you acknowledge them. Make sure they understand that you got it, that you understand them, and you're on the same page with them.
You say, "Oh, I see. Oh, I understand."
Yeah. So let's just do something like that. So let's just say that your mother just died, and that's why you're selling the house. So
Like it's her house?
Yeah. So I'll say that's good. We buy houses in any condition, Pete.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what changed in your life that caused you to want to sell this house now?
Well, my mother died. The house is, it's empty now. It's vacant, so we have to sell it.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about your mom.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks. But she was quite old, so it was all right.
Yeah, that could be a rough period in life.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing okay.
Good. So I'm definitely interested in buying a house.
Oh, good.
A lot of times it works out best by doing something with the financing.
Yeah.
You have a mortgage on the house, right?
Yeah. Not much, but there's a little left.
How much is it?
I think it's down to like $35,000.
Okay, good. And what are the monthly payments?
They're around $1,400, everything included. $1,400.
Okay. So that's the taxes and the insurance?
Yeah.
Any other expenses, like housing fees? Or...
We had to do a home equity line to cover some of her expenses, and I think that's another like 15.
15 what?
15,000.
15,000.
Yeah.
And how much you pay on that each month?
They only asked the interest, so it's only like $90 or so.
So you're paying $1,400 a month for principal, interest, taxes, first mortgage, and then another $90 for...
Yeah.
Good. Anything else?
No, just that.
Okay. So for anybody listening, it is literally as easy as we just did it. And the only reason why it's this easy is because we've heard this like 5,000 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you have the warm-up line there, which I never used to use and never had trouble, rarely, but I heard other people did. I think I must be nicer on the phone, but if you have any trouble, you have that line.
Right.
Like sometimes it works out best by doing something with the financing.
Right.
So you're telling them it's better if we do the financing. So what is it? So you can help them.
Right. So a lot of people talk about, like I know Brian Wolf talks a lot about building rapport. Mm-hmm. And there's salespeople that have been trained building rapport. I'm telling you right now, the fastest way to build rapport with your seller is, okay, what's your name? So what's your asking price?
Mm-hmm.
What's the estimated value? Oh, good. How did you get that? Right? How many bedrooms does it have? Good. How many bathrooms does it have? About how many square feet? And if you don't know, that's okay. Just curious. What kind of shape is the property in? Those few questions will build you rapport so fast your head will spin. It's setting them up to be in the conversation in their head.
I'm actually surprised because I thought rapport wouldn't be accomplished by the cold question. I thought it'd be like, oh, I live in town too.
No.
Oh, my daughter's the same age.
Rapport means you're in the conversation you're having in their head. Let me rephrase my words. Everybody, every humanoid, every human being on planet Earth is talking to himself. He's telling himself a story. It's not going to be a good day today. Shit, I dropped something 3 times. It's going to be a bad day today. Right? I mean, how did I figure this out? I'll tell you how I figured this out. You and I did a test. You remember this? Remember when I first told you I was reading something or something like that, and I said to you, it's interesting because if you ask somebody, how many days a month
are you happy? That question.
Are you feeling good? Do you feel really good? Like you feel like you're like really like on top of the world and you're feeling good?
No, it's a brutal question. No.
A majority of the people said what?
The answer is brutal.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 a month.
A day. So most people answered 3 or 4 or 5 days a month.
Yeah.
That means the other 20-something days a month, they don't feel good.
Yep.
They don't feel like they got enough rest. They don't feel like they ate the right amount of food. They feel like their leg hurts. They got a headache, right? That introverts you. That's the conversation. That's a story you're telling yourself. I got to feel better. I'm tired of my foot hurting. I'm tired of being hungry. I'm tired of being fat. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired because what you put your attention on is what you get more of. And that one thing is an understatement for most human beings. There's my psychology lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're calling a seller and you're looking to buy their house, what do they want to talk about?
The house.
They
how
want
much
to
they
brag
want.
about it. They want to find. They want to tell you about all the repairs they did.
Oh, yeah.
They want to tell you their
I got a
story.
new furnace, and the siding is only 10 years old, and we had some landscaping done. I got a new toilet seat.
So when I sit in a house, and you know this, my secret weapon, and I've just recently started talking about this, my secret weapon is after I've already done this call, I've done a closing call, which is a little bit more in detail. And lately with this, it's kind of like this is half of a closing call anyway. So sometimes when I get these completely filled out, I don't even need to do a closing call. I just call up and make an appointment.
Yeah.
Okay. I do the closing call. I then go through the house and I look at the house. Right? At that exact point, I need to transition from collecting data to making offer. It's like a line in the dirt. It's like I pass over the threshold.
Right.
Okay. I sit down, usually on the couch or in the kitchen. It's usually one or the other. Right. We don't make offers in the bathroom. I don't sit on the toilet making offers in the bathroom. I'm trying to be funny. That didn't work. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay. The first thing I do is I tell a story about me that relates to them. I had a house like this one time, and here's what happened. Or my friend had a house, if you're talking about me in one of my stories, my friend had a house like this one time, and here's what happened. Or, what I really like about this house is it has a swimming pool. And then tell a story about a swimming pool. Here's what happens. By telling a personal story of yours, they will reciprocate and tell you one of theirs.
That's very human. I just went on vacation. Oh, I did too. Last year we went.
Yeah. And you automatically build rapport. It doesn't take long. Don't be fake. Be real. And if it's something you don't like sometimes I'll start off my story. Well, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit nervous about this condo because I had condos in here before and I didn't do so well with them. It's a story.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be long. Doesn't have to be drawn out. Doesn't have to be arduous or drawn on. Just that short. So when you're asking them, what's your name? What is your asking price? It's like part of that story. So when you say to them, what kind of shape is the property in? It's allowing them to tell their story. And you've started to build rapport. The fastest way to get somebody to trust you is to match your words with your actions.
Sure.
So if you say to somebody, I'll be there at 2 o'clock on Thursday, be there at 2 o'clock on Thursday. Or call way before 2 o'clock and say, hey, this is a problem. I got to change it.
Yep.
Right? But you keep your word. Your words have to match your actions, and that's the most valuable thing you can do.
Well, they have to be very confident in you. If you do a terms deal that's going to go for some years, they've got to be very confident in you as a person and trust you. Exactly. So don't start letting them down off the bat. Right. If you can't even show up, how are they going to do a multi-$100,000 deal with you and feel comfortable and sleep at night? Don't go on the wrong foot.
So now let's back up a little bit on the script, because we ask, we're definitely interested in buying your house. You know, a lot of times what works out best is by doing something with financing. Mm-hmm. You have a mortgage on the house, right? Mm-hmm. And if they say no, because 34% of this country is free and clear, which means there's no mortgage. All they do is pay taxes, and that's it. They don't owe anything on the house. Mm-hmm. Here's what you say. Great. We love to work with houses like yours a lot. Which is true, because those are my best deals, right? Those are the most profitable deals for me and my business. Mm-hmm. Continue with the script. Now, the way it normally works, notice that, the way it normally works is that we buy houses from you now. We buy the house from you now, and we make monthly payments until we can get you paid in full. Very polite way of saying, will you do owner financing? Mm-hmm. A few great things about how we do it is we pay a higher price. You don't pay any fees with us. You can close whenever you want, and you can sell the house as is. Plus, we take care of everything, and you're free from the house, and you can move on with the next chapter in your life. Would you consider monthly payments for your equity?
And this will work for pretty house or ugly house.
This works for a free and clear house. Mm-hmm. The only place this will not work is on a probate house. It has to go to probate, because very often probate, the courts won't allow payments. They want all the money because they're trying to settle estates.
Sure. Because
if you have a probate house and it's in court, okay, what will happen is the court won't want to keep the probate case open for 2 years while you're making payments. They're looking to get it off their desk. Yeah,
well, there's other people involved often. Mm-hmm. There may be bills or debt to nursing home, hospital things, right. And they need the money. So the house is the cash cow that might satisfy those. And they don't want to wait 2 years either. Right. So
let's just get this straight, okay? Because I made this mistake for many years. Mm-hmm. If the person's not willing to give you terms, then you need a discount and go get terms from your moneylender. Mm. And the way that I do this is if let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. If you were selling me a house and it was free and clear, okay?
Yeah.
This is hypothetical, by the way. This is not really going to happen, okay? But if you were selling me a house and the house was worth $180,000 and it was free and clear and it was pretty, mm-hmm. could I pay you $180,000 and make money?
Sure.
Because what I would do is I would make you an offer, which you should go look at this at flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. It's called owner financing, is what we're talking about right now. Go watch that video. Okay. I could pay you probably $200,000 to make money with that house, because the trick is I'm paying you principal only payments.
Right. No interest.
No interest. Okay. So if I pay you $180,000 and I absorb all the closing costs, which is 12 to 14% or 12 to 15%, it's possible because I'm not paying interest. Correct?
Right.
Is it possible that if you don't give me that deal, that I could go to my private lender and he could give me $180,000 to close, and I could make the same deal with him where I would pay principal only interest payments? I mean, principal only payments with no interest. Could I do that?
I don't know. No interest at all?
Right. It's a hypothetical question.
Oh, well, you could.
I'm screwing Peter up.
Yeah, you could, because I would want some interest personally. But if you have somebody who would do that, yeah.
Okay, so is it possible that your grandmother has millions of dollars and just wants to help you out, and she'll just give you the money and not want nothing back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So if the seller says to you, I can't do that, but I will take $180,000. You could go borrow the money from Granny, who will give you the $180,000 and wants nothing back for it. It's possible.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because she was going to give that to you in your inheritance anyway. So she'll just say, here, take it now, have a house, make more on it, give it to your kids when you die, and everybody's going to be happy.
Or you make principal only payments as if you were to if you were to do it with the seller, and you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm trying to make here, that I'm trying to overemphasize, is it doesn't matter if the seller gives you the money or somebody else gives you the money. There is a lot of IRA money and that type of money out there. So is it real that on a $180,000 house it's free and clear like that you could figure out how much you have to pay for interest and reduce the price of the offer that you're giving to the person and buy the house anyways?
Say the last part again. That was fast.
So is it possible you could figure out how much interest you would have to pay your finance guy and reduce the offer by that amount of money and be in the same position?
Yes. If you have to pay the finance guy $5,000 to finance the house, I can do $175,000.
So suppose you're going to borrow the house borrow the money for 5 years. And over the 5 years, your money guy wants 5%. Your private lender wants 5% because they're borrowing the money from their home equity line for 2%.
Yeah.
They want 5%.
$9,000.
So you just reduce the 180 by 9,000, which is a super good deal by your seller, because they would have to pay more than 9,000 to sell it somewhere else, right?
Sure.
And you give them $171,000.
Sure.
You're in the same position, right?
If the guy really sold it, he wouldn't get 180. He would get 160 maybe.
Right.
So he's still making more.
Right. And if you do your cost to sell worksheet like we teach you, then you could do this. So my point is that when we say we need to make payments until we can pay you off, when is that? Because most people think when you say, I want to make payments until you pay you off, that means you make all 360 payments at the end of the 30-year mortgage. No. The payoff is when your buyer goes and gets a mortgage and gets you paid off. So that means if you go borrow this money for 5 years, somewhere in that 5-year period, your buyer needs to get qualified for a mortgage and pay off the mortgage.
Get his credit straightened out and
he's
qualify.
going to get his mortgage that's going to pay off your seller's note or mortgage with you.
Right.
Right? And that's what we're talking about.
And I talked to someone 2 nights ago.
Right.
Same, it's divorced, renting.
Right.
Because he can't buy a house. He says, I work in real estate. We have a rent-to-own program. He goes, you do?
Right.
So there's a lot of people in that boat. They're renting because they don't think they can buy.
Right. Exactly. Well, I'm going through it right now. I mean, I have to make a decision next couple of days. I have a house I'm trying to sell. It's a $260,000 house. I'm selling for $240,000. It's a handyman special. I've got about $1,500 into the house. That's because pipes broke.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, I had about $500 invested. Right, if that. And I was a little slow coming out of the chute, and then all of a sudden I changed my marketing a little bit, and all of a sudden in the last 2 weeks, it's like I got 5 people that want to buy the house, and I got to choose which one. And what did you tell me yesterday about that?
It's a strange feeling. I'm renting a condo, and I got all these people, and some are fighting over it. I'll give you an extra month deposit. I'll give you $1,900 now to hold it. I'll give you a month to hold it. I really like it. And it's strange because you're like, you got this power in the sense of they're asking you, and you get to choose.
Right.
So it looks like people like these deals, renting or rent to own, because there's not a lot of availability.
Right.
It's a great opportunity.
Yep. So
they're scrambling for it. So if you market and get people, you get to choose somebody that looks safe, reliable, and that you can count on.
Exactly. Okay, good. Let's move on and finish up. So once we figure out that we actually want to make some sort of an arrangement to go meet this person because we like what we see, right? Because they tell us how much their mortgage is, which, by the way, when we're in the mortgage section, we're going to, and I did this, but I didn't ask all the questions. So you're going to ask them what their first mortgage is, what their payment is it current? Ask them what the second mortgage is, what their payment is, doesn't include taxes and insurance, is it current? Are there any other expenses, which I asked you, right? Are the taxes included in the payment, which I asked you? Is the insurance included in the payment, which I asked you? How much are the taxes annually? Because you want to know that. And how much does the insurance cost annually? When you're asking how much are the taxes annually, ask them if it's current.
Right. You don't want them to be behind in the mortgage. You don't want them to be behind in the taxes.
Right.
Or I borrowed 10 grand from my friend or my dad and I owe him a lot and he's mad at me. You need to know.
Right. So what I do, and this is my own preference, I know you do it a little bit different. The next thing I'm going to do is, before I go any further, I want to know whose name is on the deed.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I asking whose name is on the deed?
Well, you don't want to talk to the wrong person who makes the decisions.
So if I'm going to make an appointment, I want to make an appointment with who?
The name on the deed, the guy who can sign the deed and turn it over to you. What do I do different?
Huh? No. So this next part is what you do different.
Go ahead.
So what I do is I take a look at what they're asking and what they owe. And if it's on or around $35,000, like for example, if they're asking $200,000 and they owe $175, I'll ask them this question. Okay, ready?
Yep.
It's a tough question, but I ask it every time. Will you sell the house for what you owe on it?
That's if you're within $35,000.
Yeah, I do it a little bit stronger. I mean, if I got a house that's $50,000, I mean, I do it in such a cordial way that I ask. Sometimes I ask if it's $100,000. I got a question for you. Will you sell the house for what you owe on it? What are you, nuts? Yeah, pretty much. Is that no?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want my listeners to do that. If it's within $35,000, now obviously your concern is if you get up to $300,000 or $400,000 houses, $35,000 is not enough. We were trying to do a percentage, but the percentage is too hard to figure out. So
no, I was just trying to follow
medium. If your medium is a $500,000 medium, then work that out. You know, maybe the number's 50,000 if it's within 50,000.
Yeah, I was trying to go off your loan to value ratio for taking over mortgage at 80%.
Right.
It's just using that and like kind of comparing where you sat.
Right.
Because if it was $100,000 house, 65,000 is like, that's a big percentage cut. So the person might not be happy, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
If I say to you, will you sell your house for what you owe on it? And you say yes, what just happened?
You got to get the deed subject to deal.
You're going to go buy that house, no credit, no money.
No money down.
They're going to hand you the keys. They're going to move out, and you're going to do the 6 documents you need to own the house, which all those documents are in How to Buy Real Estate Without a Loan course. And it's worth the $500 just to go buy those courses. It's worth the course just to get those documents.
Bill, how much?
I spent more than $500 to make those documents.
I was going to ask. There was thousands.
$5,000.
Yeah.
$5,000 to get those documents.
You have those in there too. Wow.
And they're in there. They're in that course.
Yeah.
The 6. Not only are they in there, but I show you how to fill them out in a recording, step by step, so you can't mess up.
And you think, who'd be crazy enough to do that? Well, I've seen it live. Like a person's in a situation where they may not be. You know, the thing is, if you sell a house, it costs around $35,000 or $30,000 or $25,000. It costs a lot to sell it. So they're not losing that. That's what would disappear in the sales process.
Right.
So you're just putting them back at square zero and taking it over, and they can go off to Arizona or wherever they need to go.
Exactly.
You're not screwing them for $35,000. That's the cost to sell off.
They would pay it somebody else. Might as well be to you.
Yeah. But the realtor, the lawyer, the thing, it's there. It's gone.
All right. So let's wrap this up. Okay. So now that you're sure that you are going to pursue it, okay, you want to know the next question, which is the house listed with a real estate agent? You have to ask them, is the house vacant or occupied? And if it's occupied, who occupies it? Is it the owner or a tenant? That makes a difference, right? And then you would ask them, if the house needed repairs, how much do you think it would cost to have a contractor repair it? You have to ask that question. For many years, we would do that, and I would get answers like, $5,000, and you get out there and it needs $30,000 worth of work because the husband's a contractor, and and it costs him $5,000 for materials because he buys it at wholesale because blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
So ask, what do you estimate the contractor repair cost would be, right? And then the very last question, which is the most important question on the entire form, is when did you want to sell by? I'm sorry, when did you want to move by? Now, that's a tough question because if the earlier question says that the house is occupied and it says and they say it's occupied by the owner, you would say, when did you want to move by?
Mm-hmm.
If they say it's occupied by a renter, you would say, when did you want to sell by?
Yeah,
because
they're not
obviously
moving.
it doesn't make sense to say it the other way.
They're selling, they're not moving.
Right. And then what you do at that particular point is you make an appointment and you go out and look at the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you an exact way to make an offer in about 30 seconds or less. You go out, you look at the house, you walk around, you make sure it's a house you want to buy, you make sure that the numbers are comparable. In other words, they're not asking $400,000 for a house that's only worth $200,000. Mm-hmm. Common sense will tell you that. Once you go through all that, worst case scenario, or the best thing that you could do, even if you don't know how to make an offer, you never listen to any of my stuff, you never took any training, here's what you do. Sit down on the couch and you tell a story. Just like I told you. Or on the kitchen table and you tell a story.
Yeah, but I've never done this before.
Exactly.
I'm a little nervous, but I like your house. I'm really excited if I could figure out
Would you be interested in helping me get started?
Yeah. If I could figure out a way for me to buy the house where you win, I win, and somehow we both do okay, It would thrill me, and I hope it would thrill you too.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
And that works.
But that's true,
I've
though.
had people do that.
You know?
Then you ask this question. What would have to happen for me to buy your house today? And they will make you an offer. And at that point, you go watch one of my 7 videos on how to buy a house. You know, you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, -free stuff / free stuff. And go watch any one of the offers because they're all there. Or send me a support ticket.
Yeah, just tell the person, well, is that your best offer? Is that the best you can do? Something like that. And
well, the sentence that's on the form, that I didn't talk about is, if we were to work out to close when you want, what's the least you could take? And then you would say, is that the best you can do?
At least try twice to get the price down, because it does work. I've seen it.
Right.
I've seen you do it 3 times.
So you could do that either on the phone or in the house, right?
Yeah.
So, the guy owes $130,000 and he's asking $180,000. You could say to him, if we were to work out to close when you wanted to, what's the least you could take? And I've seen with my own eyes, they drop $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, and then you get in the house and they drop another $20,000 just by doing that. Is that the best you can do? And just keep doing that. Is that the least you can do? Is that the least you can do? And and the other thing that we do that really works is you withdraw. Well, the house doesn't work for me. Sorry.
Can I tell them what a line you've used? First time I heard it, shocked me. It was kind of along the beginning of the conversation too. You're looking around, you have a little conversation, you're looking at the house, you had some numbers already, and you go, I don't think I'm your guy.
I start that off. My first.
Jesus. I'm standing there going
line.
What the hell, Bill? I found this house. It's down the road from me. I want to buy it. But that's just something to say, just so you're not like.
Well, I start them off on the right expectation. I let them know that it's a struggle for me. This deal's going to be a struggle for me. And then I know we're kind of off on a tangent at the end of the show, but I had a coaching client I was talking to yesterday, or day before yesterday, and he's got a multifamily house. And we're talking about it and 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 talking about it. I'm like, stop. I'm done talking. Here's your problem. There's 2 ways to make money with real estate. Buy low, sell high, so it's with equity.
Yep.
Or and cash flow every month. There's the only 2 ways to make money with real estate. This guy is being a pig. He wants both. He wants all the equity and he wants all the payments. So you have to ask him, how am I supposed to stay? Why would I want to stay in this deal? You're taking all the equity and you're taking all the cash. What's going to prompt me to stay in this deal? Do you think I'm doing this for free? Would you do that? Would you do what you're asking me to do? And the answer is almost always no.
Sure.
And that's that. Whew. How do we do?
I liked it.
Yeah?
No, it's very practical. The form.
Yeah.
That was a guided tour. That was great.
Yeah. So there's arrows on the script, so you know what to do. Best thing to do is go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. Download the script. First thing you should do is you should handwrite it out a minimum 10 times so you can feel comfortable with it. If you could role play with it, if you can't role play with somebody, then put a chair in front of a wall and talk to a wall. Or put yourself in front of a mirror and talk to a mirror.
Yeah, see, what you have to do with it is if the guy says yes, you do this. If he says no, you do that.
Right.
So maybe when you're right, you can even do, if he says yes, you do this. If he says, there's like 3 or 4 or 5 scenarios that could happen, right?
Right.
So you might want to write out the scenarios, because I practiced it once, and then the scenario came up different, and I said the wrong thing at first. So you have to practice.
So write it out, and then mock role play it a little bit, and then get on the phone, like you said, and pick some shitty leads, and then just test it out.
Yeah.
It's got to be on a gradient, but I promise you, there is no way that you can't do this 5, 10, 15 times and not end up with an appointment.
Yeah. I want to add a 2 cent.
Hang on one
Go
second.
ahead, finish.
So if you do it more than 20 times and you don't get an appointment, you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it more than 20 or 25 times.
Yeah.
And I have coaching people, or I have people that call me and they're telling me I've called 30 people and I don't have an appointment. They're either not doing the script or they're doing something wrong.
Right.
And they need to fix it. Go ahead.
Well, as an aside, you always have to keep in mind that while we all get in this business because we want to make money, you're helping the other person sell the house so they can make some money.
Yep.
Remember that you're helping them. You're the doctor, you're the counselor, you're the whatever. You're helping them. If you do it, they will let you have some money.
Right. The easiest way to understand that is they know what the symptoms are. They don't know what the disease is. Your seller knows what the symptoms are. Your job is to tell them what kind of disease they have.
Fix the problem.
And that's what will fix the problem. Because when you diagnose the disease, the symptoms will go away. And it's just that simple.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to be the experts.
Right.
We're supposed to have some more knowledge if there's blockage to selling the house or difficulties, it's over leveraged.
Well, your seller's not here listening to this podcast right now. They're not trying to get educated on how to do this. No. So you already have way more knowledge than they have because you're listening to these podcasts. And others probably.
Yep.
Right? So there you go.
Yep.
Peter, in case I haven't told you recently, thank you for being here.
You're welcome, Bill.
There you go.
I don't want you talking to yourself every Thursday morning.
Well, the problem is a lot of onus is, a lot of it comes back to me, blah, blah, blah. But I get a lot of support tickets that say, Peter, thank you for being there. Peter and Bill, thank you for being there. So thank you for being here. Our listeners like it. You bring a lot to the show. You have a lot of value added because you do it like I do it. And our true intention is to enlighten as many people as possible so that they can absolutely turn houses into income and get independent, have independence, not even freedom, just independence, so they can, control their own schedules, do what they want, go with control their own lives.
Yep.
And I think every week we work at that. So please go give us a review.
And thank Bill for being here, because if he wasn't here, nobody else would be here.
Yeah.
You were here first.
Go give us a review. We need reviews. Calling all podcasters. Please give us a review.
Yeah, but then ask what you want to hear about. What part of the podcast you need us to go over more that would help you.
Right.
And if we hear a lot of people saying that, we know what to do to help you guys.
Exactly. Yeah, we're going to do this for an hour every week anyway, so we might as well talk about what you want to hear. Oh, wait a minute. I practice what I preach. I want to get in the conversation in your head. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.